Let's roll. Nice, Kevin James. That was crazy. Did not expect that. So any feedback for Kevin James, go ahead and put that in the chat. What you liked about the song and what you think could be improved. Let's help get a music production discussion started around this song and all things music production related. So I loved all the little wonky synths that you had in there. I thought those worked really well. The interplay between them also worked really well. Thank you so much for the follow there, SilverFox46. Do appreciate it. So sounds worked well together. The arrangement worked well of those sounds. I would say that they could be a little bit more impactful in the mix as far as having them be more upfront. I think really the gain staging of your track could be worked with a little bit to really have the elements shine through a bit more. So oftentimes producers, I'll get this a lot where producers will send in tracks and it'll be like, oh, it's not as, loud, as fat as I want it to be. And they'll just start adding a bunch of layers and just throwing a bunch of sounds together to make sort of a wall of sound. And really, they're missing one of the most basic, fundamental parts of really music production, and that's gain staging. That's not to say that the gain staging was completely off there. Thank you so much, Billion Dog TV, for the follow. Also, do appreciate it, man. Yeah, it's not to say that your track was completely off their new point list. I just felt that some of the instruments could have been a bit louder in the mix compared to other elements in the mix that would help them shine through a bit more. Once you do that, then you'll have a better kind of understanding of how you should EQ and compress and add other effects to different sounds. Because the volume of certain elements in your mix will again shift all the it'll change your perception of the other elements in the mix. So if you have a, let's say, lead synth that's a little bit low in the mix and has some harsh frequencies, you might not hear those harsh frequencies. You bring it up more forward in the mix with more volume, then those harsh frequencies come out, and then you'll notice that you do need to do more EQing. So again, it changes the perception of the actual element that you're working on as well as other elements. With that lead sound louder, higher frequencies, then the hi-hats might get drowned out and you might not hear them as well. So that's, just an example of what could happen. So I think some of the wonkier synths could have been more forward in the mix. And let me go back here. So I think you could also have added a kick in this track. You had other percussion elements, but it just felt like it was missing some sort of low end, and you could also try adding a sub, but I think a kick would work better here as it'll help move the track along a bit better. I think that's really what I was missing, more of a kick to go along with that percussion. I think that's, definitely add that driving force to the track. Mess around with different kick patterns It'll be interesting to see how you can fit in a kick in this track if you do decide to put one in, as yeah, there's just a lot of elements going crazy every which way, and I think a really interesting kick pattern could work here. Alrighty. So once again, any feedback, put that in the chat. What you liked, what you think could be improved about the song. Alright, moving along here. Moving right along. No problem. No problem there. Alright, Simon Smith. Are you in the stream right now? Simon Smith. Let me know and I can go over your track. Simon Smith. Mr. Smith, are you in the stream? Let's see who else we got here after Simon Smith. Oliver Bronze. I believe Oliver is in the stream. Yes, Bronze Music is in the stream. Okay, so I don't see Simon, so we'll just go over your track here, Oliver. And again, Simon Smith, if you're in the stream, Mr. Smith, paging Mr. Smith. We can go over your track next.
Du snackar massa strunt när jag inte hör. Behandlar mig som luft, spelar oberörd. Kan vi inte börja samsas nu? Jag har längtat jävligt länge efter att få kunna andas ut. Vi bara bråkar, vi har det inte bra, okej? Men emellanåt står det jävligt klart för mig att jag kommer sakna dig, fast du bara hatar mig. Men kan ändå aldrig någonsin gå tillbaks till dig. Aldrig mer brytas ner, aldrig mer falla ner. Aldrig mer kasta sten, aldrig mer, aldrig mer. Aldrig mer brytas ner, aldrig mer falla ner. Aldrig mer kasta sten, för jag vill bara älska. Varje gång jag känner mig stark faller jag för trygghet. Samma gamla kärlek till känslan av fötterna på fast mark. Då måste jag påminna mig själv att jag aldrig mer vill må så igen. Efter alla dessa gånger kan det låta som ett skämt, men jag ska aldrig falla för dig igen. Jag ska aldrig falla för dig igen. Dig är jag sämre än jag borde kunna vara. Du tyckte jag var underbar i relationens unga dagar. Då flög vi fritt, nu kan vi inte andas. Du ville gifta dig, men vi är som gift för varandra. Varje jävla gång når vi bara samma slut. Och luften går ur mig, men jag kan inte andas ut. Trots att jag är samlad nu tar aldrig dessa tankar slut. Denna blanka canvas-duk vill jag bara förvandla nu. Varje gång jag känner mig stark faller jag för trygghet. Samma gamla kärlek till känslan av fötterna på fast mark. Då måste jag påminna mig själv att jag aldrig mer vill må så igen. Efter alla dessa gånger kan det låta som ett skämt, men jag ska aldrig falla för dig igen. Jag ska aldrig falla för dig igen.
right, Bronze. Loving it, man. Loving it, loving it. That pop, progressive housey tune. Loving all the melodic elements that you have in there. So any feedback for Bronze, go ahead and put that in the chat. Type away what you liked and what you think could be improved about the song. So first off, like I said, the instruments, all the different melodies that you had, all those worked really well together. I just think a few mixing tips can help improve this track. You know, the arrangement was great, everything worked well. And again, guys, we're at 24 viewers right now. We are 12 away. That's right, 12. 12 viewers away from giving away the Sonavox Spectral Morphing Synthesizer Twist. All we need is 12 more viewers. Let's go ahead and pull this up. Sonavox Twist. So you guys can take a look at this bad boy. Awesome little synthesizer. $100 value. Look at that, look at that, look at that. Bunch of different onboard effects, bunch of different presets, arpeggiator. Can't beat it, guys, can't beat it. So, once again, mixing I think could help improve this track. So with the vocals, I think there definitely could have been some vocal improvements in the song. Layering of your vocals. I didn't think the vocals were as impactful as they could be in the mix. I think adding in pitched layers on your vocals. So taking your vocal, adding another audio track, pitching it up 12 decibels, pitching it down 12 decibels, blending those in with the original layer that you already have in there to thicken out the sound. What this does is really just add more frequencies in different parts of the frequency spectrum. The lower pitched down vocal will fill out more of the lower end of the frequency spectrum, and the higher pitched vocals will fill out the higher part of the frequency spectrum. And this will help create a thicker sound overall. A little goes a long way here, so to not necessarily have to have those layers punching through in the mix, just to give it a little thickness and a little depth to the vocals. Add in some saturation with that. Also, could add a distorted layer in there. Also, I think vocal effects could have been used more in the track. Vocal effects, having different overdubs at certain points, maybe 3 transition, add a, just a completely distorted layer, add a layer that's kind of just reverberated and delayed for a specific word, having something that is, pitched around, to give a kind of that electronic pop feel, with all those vocal pitches you hear. Adding those in would work really well, add more detail to the sound, and give it a little more of a professional polish. I know, but again, the main idea was great and it worked really well with the track. I just think adding in some layers for thickness and some effects for really just the interest of the track and detail of the track would give it that professional polish. Yes, 12 semitones, that is what I meant. Did I say something else instead of 12 semitones? Vocal synth too definitely could be good for that. I definitely agree there. Definitely. Oh, I said 12 decibels. Yeah, yeah, not 12 decibels, 12 semitones. What is up, Rymac? Thanks so much for joining. Oh, nice. You are using vocal synth too. Definitely have those layers come through a bit more then. Definitely. Yeah, put a send on the track and increase the gain 12 decibels. Let's see. What other feedback we have here? Blue Eyes 47 says, to me it just felt a bit out of place. The drop is nice, but the first drop was just a bit weird to me. I can't exactly explain why, but it's at the tip of my tongue. It's an amazing track. Let's just go ahead and review the first drop real quick. Okay, my last bit of feedback was the bass in this, the bass and the kick in this track, specifically in the drop. There appears to be some sort of like rumbling sound in the low end, which I believe is with the bass. I'm not quite sure if it's just conflicting with the kick, if it's just the sound is muddy itself, but there appears to be a little bit of a rumbling sound. It's just, yeah, let me play it once more. Yeah, it doesn't quite sound right in the mix. I would try soloing the low end instruments, just your bass, your kick, your sub, and listen to what kind of gives it that rumble. And I would try and remove that with EQing or a different sound. I think that would be the best bet for this. Also, the kick, I think, could be also more impactful. And a few of you guys also mentioned that the snare could be more impactful. I think overall side chaining could have been a little bit stronger. That'll definitely help with the kick and snare coming through more in the mix. The kick felt a little just more like a tick, not so much as a driving force of this track. I think a kick that has more body to it isn't quite as pillowy. So pillowy meaning kind of has the high frequencies muted a little bit or rolled off. That's what your kick sounds like. I think something more pop oriented, something that has more high frequencies, like really drives the track, has more presence and has more body. So like the mid-range, low range of it would work better for this track to drive the track a bit better. And the snare, you could try just boosting it up in volume a little bit, and with the harder side chain, that should really have the snare come through much more here. And Lensa also mentioned the vocals are too narrow. A cool trick would be to send it to a bus with widening effects like a short delay and a tasteful amount of reverb. The drum in the one of every measure in the chorus sounds a little muddy. I think maybe dip some frequencies around 250 and maybe 500 hertz. Okay, definitely good points there, Lensa. So yeah, we went over the vocals. Good tip. Could definitely try that out. And also the muddiness. Yeah, just went over that also. And yeah, I think it's just the combination of the kick and the bass, or just the bass. You really have to go into the mix again to see how that will, what's causing that mud. Okay, I can definitely turn down the music. I can't turn the mic up any louder. The volume's all the way up. The input in the microphone's all the way up. The fan power is on, so there's no more volume for the mic that I can give. So what you guys are gonna have to do is turn up the volume of your computer. And I'm gonna go ahead and turn down the volume of the music right now around 3 decibels, 4 decibels right here. I'm trying to move the mic closer. I don't think this will work. That's like as close as I could get it, I would say. I mean, if I do this, if I like talk like this, then you could definitely hear me a lot better, but I would have to hold the mic the whole time. Okay, here we go. No problem there, Bronze Music. Thank you so much. What else we got here? So Simon Smith, I believe you're not in the stream, so we will go on past you here. Drew Nelson, are you in the stream? Let me know. Next up we have Blue Eyes. I believe you're in the stream, Blue Eyes. Let me know if you are. Pretty sure you are. Okay, sweet. Okay, and okay, Drew Nelson, you're in here. Let's do it. right, nice, nice, nice. Loving the little ethnic hip hop track there. So any feedback, go ahead and put that in the chat, what you liked and what you think could be improved about this song. So I love the little like strings you have in the background. I'm not sure what instrument that is. I forget the name of it, like a dulcimer or something like that. Anyways, it sounded really good in the mix. I think that they could have used more variation in the track. You know, you guys mentioned it was definitely also not quite as full as you would like it to be. Definitely vocals would work really well in this track. Some sort of lead sound if you didn't have any vocals. Again, you can go over to SoundShockAudio.com to find a bunch of free vocals if you can't find a vocalist for your track. As Lensa mentioned, the kick is a tad bit too loud. It is clipping as well. I hear it. You know, that just depends kind of, you know, the style you want to go for. In this track, if you know you want the kick to clip, then go ahead and go for it. That's definitely, you know, in the hip hop style, and you definitely hear that often. It's kind of a trend right now. It is a tiny bit too loud in the mix. I would definitely reduce the volume though, even if it is clipping. And if you want it, just lower it in volume. Let's see. Yes, Besieged 18, definitely missing something. Yeah, the vocals, like I said, would work really well. And I think a bit of variation in the arrangement would work really well. It felt a bit repetitive. You know, when you have a vocal on there, it'll definitely add a lot of variation. But I would kind of, you know, work with the arrangement a bit more. Highlight certain instruments. Maybe just have the dulcimer or whatever plucking instrument that is in there. Have a section with that just playing with some like weird reverb on it. Bring in the drums a little bit slower, and maybe have just like the drums playing at a certain point. Really give more variation to the arrangement. I think that will help with the track. You know, it's with these sorts of tracks that are missing a main element, it's kind of hard to really tell how the mix is going to sound and give a full commentary on the mix and the arrangement because of that. Yeah, just because it changes so much with a main element, like I said at the first track we had here, that adding a main element will add a lot of hold on. Okay, they didn't leave a message. Thank God. Yeah, someone sampled the phone. I would never sample the phone because I hate that ringtone. I just couldn't do it. I hate it so much. All right, what else? Yeah, so any other feedback, go ahead and put that in the chat. What you liked and what you think could be improved. And thank you so much for the follow there, Besieged18 and CWOODMA. Do appreciate it. If I don't know how to pronounce the name, I'm just gonna list all the letters in the name from now on. That way, people won't start hating me for mispronouncing the names there. I'm trying to think. You know, just those small fixes as far as adding in a main element, arrangement-wise, changing a bit. I mean, that'll already completely change the track. So definitely look into adding vocals. We are at 28 viewers. 28 viewers right now, guys. 8 more. And we will be giving away the Spectral Morphing Synthesizer Twist. $100 value. Yours for free. 8 more. That is all we need, and we are giving this bad boy away. What is up, D. Cargan? Thanks for joining. Thank you so much. All right, we got Blue Eyes next. Blue Eyes, you are up. Nice, Blue Eyes. Loving the synthwave. Haven't heard a synthwave track on the stream in a while. So thank you for sending it on in. And again, any feedback, go ahead and put that in the chat. Overall, love the vibe. Love the Stranger Things vibe that you had in there. Definitely caught that as well. I really think just some mixing tips could help improve this song. The mix really sounded a little off, in my opinion, especially for this type of genre that you're working in. So I'll just hop right into the feedback. First thing that I noticed is with the snare. The snare had this weird stereo imaging on it. It had a lot of side information and not so much mid information. And it just, yeah, it sounded misplaced in the mix. So having that snare be more monocentric, I'm not sure if you did some different processing in the image, in the stereo imaging of this snare. I would remove that and have it be more monocentric. Definitely good to have some side information on this. You know, if you want to add that side information, I would recommend adding another layer that has different side imaging, and that will help really give you impact in the mid part of the stereo field as well as the sides. So definitely the snare needs to be fixed there. What else? I would say the kick, the relationship between the kick and the bass also needs to be a lot stronger. They felt a little weak in the mix, those two elements. You know, with the synthwave track, you have that really chugging along, really kind of rolling bass line that really drives the entire track. That really is the heart and soul of the entire track. The bass line, the kick, and the snare. They really get you into that, you know, that groove. And I didn't quite feel that with this track, and I think that just had to do with the mixing. So what I would recommend doing is, I think New Pointless mentioned this, is strengthening up the side chaining to really get that really pumping type feeling. So increase the side chain a bit here. And also have those elements be louder in the mix. Have the kick, have the snare, have the kick and have the bass be louder in the mix. What you could also do is compress those two elements together, glue them together, you know, give it like 3 decibels of gain reduction or so, just to give them a little more consistency in the mix when played together. I wouldn't recommend, you know, completely crushing them. Just again, adding a little bit of compression, 3 decibels or so, putting the attack up to around 18 milliseconds or so, 20 milliseconds to let the initial hit of the kick come through, and, you know, have a really moderate release, maybe around 70 milliseconds. These are just ballpark numbers. You'll definitely have to experiment in the mix to what sounds best for the particular track. But just to give it a little light compression to glue them together, I think that'll help a lot. Also, saturation, distortion. You can saturate, distort each one individually, the kick and the bass, or you can saturate, distort them together. And a little goes a long way here, so don't go too crazy with it, but that'll help it come forward in the mix a bit more. And really the gain staging. I should have mentioned that first. The gain staging of the elements that will really set the track up for a really punchy and driving track. The kick and the snare are usually the loudest things in the mix. I usually have those around -6 to -8 decibels, and the other elements all have quieter in the mix. The kick and the snare, again, will be the loudest things in the mix. And the bass, I'll usually have maybe around like -10 decibels, -8 decibels. But again, those are just reference numbers, and really they just, give you options for where elements could go in the mix. And again, you'll want to do what works best for your song. But those are the two things that I noticed that could really help improve this track. I love the melody that you had over top of it. The vibe worked really well. Let's see what you guys have to say here. Here's the issue with the sidechain. I use a plugin called A1 Trigger Gate, so it is a bit tricky for the sidechain, but I'll do my best. I would just use a compressor if it's a bit tricky and troublesome for you. Just use a compressor, set up a ghost note, so you'll be able to trigger the compressor every quarter note and set the sidechain compressor to that specific ghost note, and then the compressor will trigger every single time a note plays, and you'll of course go into your MIDI clip and add a note every quarter note, so you'll be able to tell the compressor when to activate. Let's see. Or you could use LFO tool. Any LFO shaper, envelope shaper works really well for side chaining. You could do that as well. It wouldn't be necessary though, C-Dub 50 with this particular track, because there is a preset 4/4 notes in LFO tool, so you won't need to set up a MIDI track that's only for just non-even note intervals, I believe, that LFO tool has the preset for. I think so. Right. Moving on here. Thank you so much again. I do appreciate it for sending on to the track. We're at 28 viewers. 28 viewers. 8 away. We can do it, guys. We can do it. No, we're dropping. 9. We need 9 now. We can do it. 9 viewers, and we give away the Sonovox Spectral Morphing Synthesizer Twist. With a twist. Okay, here we go. Chris Wardall, are you in the stream right now? Chris Wardall, if you are, let me know. We can go over your track. Next up after that is Ross S. Ross, are you in the stream? Chris and Ross. Ross and Chris. Chris Ross. Ross Chris. Okay, Chris, awesome. Both of you guys are in here. So let us do it. C-Dub. Nice little remix there. So I'll hop right into the feedback here. I'm getting a ton of tracks, so I want to make sure I go over everyone's track. So, I'll hop right into the feedback right after the track plays, and I suggest you guys do the same. That'd be awesome. It can definitely help out C-Dub here and anyone else's track that we listen to. So putting your feedback in the chat about what you liked and what you think could be improved would greatly be appreciated. We're at 28 viewers right now. Again, still 8 away from the Sonavox Twist free giveaway. So, mixing definitely needed to be improved with this. So, we're taking this opportunity to go full screen. That is right, full screen. Boom! We are full screen. Okay, so I remember when I started producing, and then even after years of producing, mixing has always been an issue. I mean, it still is. It's still one of the toughest parts of music production is mixing. Music production comes down to ear training. That's it. That's really it. You can know all the technical details in the world about how to do this fancy mixing technique for everything, but if you don't have the ears, the trained ears, it's just not going to work out. This is a very learnable skill, training your ears to know what sounds good in the mix, to know where certain elements to go, to know what elements you need to EQ, what frequencies you need to EQ them at, what compression level you need to have them be at, what volume level you need to have the individual instruments in your mix at, what specific sounds you need to add to your mix that complement each other well. This is a very learnable skill. It is a very tough skill to learn, but it's very learnable. The biggest advice that I could give anyone learning how to mix is to recreate other people's songs, other artists' songs that you like, that you think has a good mix. I give this advice a lot. More often than not, people don't follow that advice. You know why? Because it's hard. It's not the most exciting thing in the world to recreate a song. It's very time-consuming. But it is the most helpful, in my opinion, in my experience, to recreate other people's songs. Trying to sound design the specific elements, arranging them exactly as you hear them. That will teach you so many different things on mixing, arrangement, how certain elements go together, when they should play, when they should come out. The answers are right in front of you. When you hear a professional song, you hear how it sounds. Those are the elements that are in the mix. Those are how they play together. Those are how they're mixed. The answers are right in front of you. Again, this is very tedious. So recreating their song, you also want to get the mix as perfect as possible, as close as possible to that song. Listening to the song that you're trying to recreate, cutting out the high frequencies, listening just to the low end, just to hear how those elements interact with each other, soloing just specific frequency ranges. That is important for finding out how to mix these tracks. So let's say you're recreating this alone track. And you're on the bass kick and sub. Put a high cut filter on the alone track and listen to the energy levels that are coming from these specific elements. And try and replicate that in your recreation. Pretty simple tip. Not many people follow it. It is the most helpful. I'm just going to leave it at that. If you want to improve your mix, that is one surefire way. Well, not just improve your mix, really just improve your overall production skills. Because you'll hear how when you recreate a song and you can recreate it fairly well, you've essentially created a professional track. I mean, you didn't necessarily come up with the melody, everything. You just essentially copied it, but the mixing and the arranging of it, you've done it. And when you start to get closer and closer to the original track that you tried to recreate, this will start to train your ears to know what sounds good together. It's one of the best ear training tips I could give. Okay, that was a very long rant. Very long rant. All right. So that would be my recommendation for this. There were a lot of mixing errors in this. Stereo imaging was off. The instruments were fighting for space. I would recommend trying to recreate the alone track. That's what I would recommend for this. I don't think necessarily one mixing tip is going to help you here. I just think it just recreating other tracks. I wish, I had done that sooner. I kind of started after years. It wasn't for years after I started producing that I started recreating other people's tracks, and I realized how great it was and how beneficial it was and how it improved my mixes so much. So hopefully that helps there. We're at 30 viewers, 6 away from the free giveaway. 6 away from the free giveaway. Hey! So thank you so much, C-Dub. Do appreciate it. Thank you. Hopefully that advice helps. Hopefully you take it, and hopefully, it helps you improve your productions, as I know it will. All right, Ross, you are up. All right, nice, Ross. Nice little beat there. Thanks for sending it on in. Do appreciate it. So any feedback for Ross, go ahead and put that in the chat. So I like the overall vibe that you had for it, kind of that little darker, hip-hop-ish vibe. That always works really well. I just think the arrangement and the elements that we had in there could be improved. As far as the arrangement, it seemed a little stagnant. It was kind of just on repeat. Definitely more variation. Adding in more instruments would really help. Adding in more dynamics to the track. Have certain elements, be washed in reverb. Have them be high cut with an EQ. Bring that EQ up. Just give more variation in the production so it doesn't feel so stagnant. I think that would really help. And of course, vocals. Vocals in this would definitely lift up the track to a new level. Vocals always seem to do that in any shape or form. Vocal chops, main vocal line, that would work really well. Also, I think the little bleep sound that you had in there, I think it almost felt out of key a little bit. I'd maybe rework that melody line a bit, that bleeping melody line. I think it could fit a little bit better with the track. with the chord progression that you have, with some, just a different note selection here. M Code, thank you so much for the host. Do appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That could also work really well. Sidechain the kick to the melody to give a little more drive to the track, get a little more pump to the song. What else? But yeah, really those kind of changes in the mix, in the arrangement, in those additions would really help. Also transition effects, reverse cymbals, those work really well for this kind of hip hop style. Those reverse cymbals, those crashes, add those in there and also give a little more interest. All right, Ross. Moving on up here. And thank you again for the host there, M Code. Billion Dog, you still in the stream? Billion Dog. So does that mean you have a billion dogs? Like actual dogs? A billion friends? Like as in dogs? Explain to us your username choice there, Billion Dog. 24 viewers. We are slipping. We are slipping. We are slipping. We are slipping, guys. Don't let it slip. We're so close. We were so close for so long, and now we're slipping. We can bring it back. M Code, help us out with the host there. We're gonna bring it back. Don't worry. There we go. There's one. We're at 25. A billion dog. Billion dog. Okay, well, let me know if you're in the stream there, Billion Dog, and we can definitely go over it. Until then, we will go on to the next one. No Name. No Name, are you in the stream right now? No Name. I believe this is Dank. I believe I've been emailing with you a bit. No Name. Let me know if you're in the stream. Billion Dog and No Name. We can go over your track now if you are in the stream. And again, guys, 36 concurrent viewers, and we're giving away the Sonavox Twist Spectral Morphing Synthesizer. $100 value. Yours for free. Yours for free. We are on the verge of greatness. We are. All right. All right, all right, all right. All right, all right, all right. Okay, moving on here. We are going over Daria's track. Daria, you were in the stream. I believe I saw you in here. Give me a hey yo. A hey yo. What is up? We can go over your track right now. I know, seriously, 10 more people cannot be that hard, guys. Anything, email, messaging, posting, any social media. We can get 10 more viewers in here and we can give away this plugin. Again, Daria, are you in the stream? Let me know, Daria. We can go over your track right now. Okay, sweet. Let's do it. Nice, Daria. Nice, nice, nice. Loving the little. What genre would you call this, actually? I guess that's a very good question. It's like kind of progressive house-ish, kind of like the more old school-ish progressive house, I would say. Old school as in like 8 years ago, something like that. Yeah, so any feedback for Daria, go ahead and put that in the chat. What you liked, what you think could be improved about this song. So I think I mentioned this last week with the mixing. Yeah, that's definitely great. Send in unmixed tracks. I definitely prefer that to works in progresses over having tracks that are finished. That way, you can use the feedback that you hear from other people and myself, and potentially improve your track that way. I would say this though: you want to avoid distortion even in your unmixed tracks. Distortion is it alters your track. It alters your track's mix a lot. And when you go back and mix this, you'll find that a lot of your instruments sound weak and that you'll have to change around a lot in the mix. And again, I think I mentioned this last week. I like to do a little bit of mixing when I work on my track. A little bit of mixing just so I don't have to completely change every single instrument, completely volume change everything, EQ everything when I go back into the mix. With distortion like this in your kick, it takes up a large part of the frequency spectrum. And it also takes up, of course, a lot of volume because it's clipping. So it's going to alter every single element in your mix. So when you remove this distortion, it's going to change all your elements. They're going to sound different. And you're going to have to do a lot of mixing to kind of catch up with that. And that can be avoided in the first place by just having proper gain staging. That proper volume gain staging being the different volume levels of the different elements in your mix. I believe I sent this in last week. If you haven't checked it yet, I would definitely check it out. This gain staging tutorial video that I made. Let me pull it up here. And by following this tutorial, you'll be able to avoid that distortion and having to do extra work, because that's really what's causing in this track is extra work when you have distortion. So let's go back to the track. So yeah, the kick, we're using the volume of the kick. That distortion, all the elements coming together are causing that distortion. You'll have to solo the kick to see if that is specifically distorting. So distorting meaning clipping meaning going over the 0 decibel peak meter that you have on your DAW's track. If any elements are going over that 0 decibels, you'll want to reduce the volume of them. So what you could also do is just reduce the volume of every single element in the track. That could also help reduce the digital distortion that you have. What else? Also, I think the track was a little bit too muddy. I would recommend... Well, first off, the gain staging will already help with the mix a lot. So having proper gain staging will allow the different elements in your mix to shine through, and if you have a lot of elements in your track that aren't overlapping, that don't have a lot of overlapping frequencies, which I can hear in this track, there aren't too many, it'll definitely improve the mix, and it'll have it be it'll be cleaner in the first place. But definitely some EQing needs to be done. With the synths that you have, you'll definitely need to carve out frequencies. It gets muddy in the 250 to 500 hertz range in the synths that you have playing in the drop there. Also, I think the track could be a little bit brighter as well. I think adding more high frequencies to the lead could work well. The elements just need to pop out in the mix a bit more and be more separated in the mix. That's really what I'm trying to get at here, is they feel a little bit cluttered in the mix. They all feel kind of crammed together with the distortion and everything. It's definitely adding to the clutter in the mix. So just think separation, and that will come from EQing and volume leveling or gain staging of your mix. But you know, the idea was great. I thought it worked really well. The lead melody that you had is definitely an interesting track from start to finish. Just some mixing to help your idea come through better in the mix is definitely necessary here. Okie dokie. Let's see what we got here. Feedback. No Scope Ninjax says you could layer the synth more. Could definitely layer the synth in this track a bit more. I would focus on the mixing though to see how that comes through in the mix before you do any more layering of the individual instruments. But layering could definitely help add complexity, timbral interest to the mix, and just an overall fuller sound. It's definitely not against that. Good idea there. Identify EDM. Could add a guitar on the second breakdown. Guitar would work really well for this track. Identify EDM also says the reverb on the lead needs more gating. I feel the tail is too long. I could also just, reduce the decay of the reverb. Or what you could do is you could sidechain the reverb to itself. So you have a send return channel. You put a reverb on a send return channel and also put on a sidechain compressor and set that sidechain compressor to the specific sound that you want to have the reverb on. And what this will do is that every time the lead plays, the reverb will duck. And when the lead stops playing, the compressor will release its grip, and the reverb will play. And that will help clean up the mix so the reverb isn't coming in when the lead is playing. It'll only come in after. And you can adjust the compressor settings to make it more gradual so it's not a sharp taking away and giving of the reverb. And that can help clean up the mix as well. You can also try gating it also. So 3 tips there that you can use: gating, just reducing the decay, or adding a sidechain reverb. All right, we are 9 away, staying in that 10, 9, 8 range to give away the Sonavox Twist Spectral Morphing Synthesizer. We can do it. I know it. I know it, guys. All right, moving on here. Who do we got next? All right, so Billion Dog is not in here. No Name, I don't believe is in here as well. Let me know if you guys are, and we can definitely go over your track. Darko, you're in the stream right now. Let me know. Here, I'll pull up your track. You can see it, Darko. If you're in the stream, let me know, and we can go over it right now. Give me a holla. Give me a holla in the chat. So what have you all been working on as of late? What have you all been, like, EP-wise, single-wise? Are we looking to release an album? What has everyone been working on as of late? Personally, I haven't been working on much music. I've just been working on kind of just random songs here and there. Hopefully, I'll be getting together a few singles to release this year, but nothing too much as of late. Nice, on a remix. Nice, Silver Fox. Okay, so No Scope Ninjax. Oh yeah, so is whose track was this again? Yeah, Darko, you're in the stream right now. Again, let me know. Nice, working on a lot of house tracks. Good, nice, Lensa. New Pointless, working on battle music for my soundtrack. Okay, that's yours, Silver Fox. Awesome. We can go over the track then. Okay, No Name. Awesome. We'll go over your track too. Let's do it. And again, invite your friends. Get awesome feedback. on your track and win the special morphing synthesizer. Let your friends know of this great opportunity. Nice. Loving the future bounce track there, Darko. Any feedback for Darko, go ahead and put it in the chat. What you liked, what you think could be improved. I'm looking at, I usually always write down all the notes that I have for the tracks that I'm, the notes that I want to go over for each track. And I'm looking at my handwriting, and I'm just realizing that, I don't know why I'm realizing this now, but that, can anyone read that? Like, what does that actually say? It's so bad. I have like the worst handwriting ever. I literally just squiggle. That's my feedback, is a squiggle. All right. So mixing needs to be improved with this track. I know that's a recurring theme, but that definitely is one of the biggest points of feedback that is really just given, mixing feedback. I really do have doctors writing. It really is true. I have a few friends that are doctors, and it's true. Their handwriting is terrible. It's pretty comparable to this. Okay, so a few things. I think Lensa also pointed this out. In the verses, you need mid-range. You need a bass. You have the kick going, you have the hi-hats going, you have the plucks going, which have a little bit of mid-range in them, but you need more of a mid-range present because the track sounds a bit weak there. Also, there was in the second verse as well. So that section feels a bit weak just because the lack of frequencies in the mid-range there. So, just a steady bass line that's, could be following along with like the lead, could be just the solid notes, just changing every bar or so with the progression. I really play around with it to find what works best for the track. I think that, what else? Oh, in the intro here. The hi-hat that's playing on the left side of the stereo field is off beat. Put that on beat, and that'll fix that. threw off the rhythm a little bit. It's like a ride sound or something like that. Just it's not quite in time. Also, the main synth that you have in the drop here. I want to talk about that. Okay, so I'm not sure which synth it is, but something's panned too far to the left and it's drawing the attention away from the center main focus of the track. So that's essentially saying, like, imagine if I just had like a, I don't know, like this, just like to the left of me, and I was doing this the whole time. Like, you would notice that like kind of more than me just my face here. That's kind of what is happening here with that. So with electronic tracks, and specifically this type of synth, this big future house, future bounce-ish type synth, you want to think of stereo spreading over panning. So what I mean by that is you want to have your elements be narrow and wide to create that sense of stereo imaging, rather than having different elements panned hard to the left, hard to the right. That will help create more power in the mix and more of a balanced mix for this particular style. That's not to say that you don't want to have elements that are panned to the left, panned to the right. That's not what I'm saying. I just think that for this particular song, that the synths that you have could be stereo spread to create that width rather than panning. So have maybe the bass, the lower frequency bass sound, have that be more monocentric, have less side information, have less stereo imaging in that. And as the synths go higher in frequencies, have those expand out and have those be wider in the stereo field. So it kind of funnels out. The low frequencies are here, the high frequencies are here. Here's the stereo imaging, have those funnel out. Think about that, and I think that will help create a more powerful mix and help keep the listener more focused on the main theme of your track. Okay. What else? I'm thinking. Verse leads. Okay, and also in the verse here, it was also panned a bit. So right there, also just move that to the center. Real quick fix there. So that's really all I wanted to talk about. Really just a few mixing things to help fill out the track, help create more balance, and yeah, it was an excellent tune. Really cool feature bounce song. Vocal chops, vocals could work really well on this track. I think those are definitely necessary for this. Could be even just vocal shouts. It doesn't have to be a full vocal line. Head on over to SoundShockAudio.com. You can get a ton of free vocals that will fit in perfectly with this song. All right, let's see any feedback real quick that we have. Da, 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 da. When my bros are listening to Brazilian funk and stealing my 12 megabyte internet. Hey man, Brazilian funk, that's where it's at. That's the new big thing. It's gonna take over the world, Brazilian funk. It beat me to it there, Identify EDM. It beat me to it. SoundShockAudio.com. Tons of free samples. Has the largest free sample pack library on the web. All yours for free. All organized nicely and by genre, instrument. You can find all the samples you want easily and get to making some music. All right, moving on here. No Name. Go over your track. Nice, No Name. Awesome little tune there with Astro Wave. So any feedback for No Name, go ahead and put that in the chat, what you liked and what you think could be improved about the song. And let's help get a music production discussion started around the song and all things music production related. As once again, the goal is to help you guys out with your music productions with this live stream. Hopefully you can walk away with at least one tip, whether you send in a track or not. The goal is to have you walk away with one tip that you can use in your music productions. All right, we are slipping again, 11 away from the free giveaway. There's still time, we can still do it. Invite your friends, 11 away. I know it, we can do it. So I love the lead sound that you had in here. I thought that the notes that you play, that kind of like, where is the lead sound? Let's play it. A little dun, 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 dun. I thought that worked really well. The vibe of the track. I think that overall the track need more mixing, more different sound selection, I would say, layering and arrangement help. So I'll break down each one of those. So for the arrangement, I think that you could have used just more effects, more cutoff filters, more volume automation. It just seems like a sound came in and then it went out. You just took the MIDI notes, put them in, and then took them out. Put them in, took them out. You didn't do any automation of reverbs, delays, volume, filtering, anything like that. You need more of an interesting arrangement, and adding movement to the arrangement would definitely help. I think automation here, put on effects on different sounds. So instead of just taking out the sound, washed out in reverb, just to add more interest. So that's what I meant by arrangement help. And as far as the sound selection, I think you could have definitely added sounds that complemented each other a bit better. I think really just layering could help with this to add more complexity and interest to it. They did complement each other, not that they didn't. So yeah, I think just more layering would really help as far as adding more complexity to the sound. So let's say your lead synth, dun 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 dun. You could add in another synthesizer, just make a copy of the synthesizer you already have, change around some settings, pitch it up 12 semitones, pitch it down 12 semitones, add some distortion to that, mix that in with the already existing lead sound, and that'll help give more complexity, interest, tonal interest to the track, and a fuller sound. So I think that sort of process could help. Again, just layering to give more interest to the song. And then what was the other thing? Mixing. I think the gain staging video would really help here for the different elements in your track. Let's pull it up here. If you guys haven't already, I would highly recommend checking out the SoundShockAudio YouTube channel, as I do believe that it is one of the best YouTube channels for tutorials. Here's the YouTube channel. Some of the most in-depth mixing tutorials on the web. I've seen so many different tutorial videos, and when I made these, I had just the idea of trying to make them as helpful as possible for you, knowing how to use specific tools and in what situations that you could use them in. A lot of tutorials just go over, a very, very, very specific situation, one very specific situation, and or just go over what a specific tool does, like an EQ or compressor. And just because you know what the tools of a compressor are doesn't mean you know how to use them specifically in your track. And that was the goal of these tutorials, and I really feel like I hit the mark with that, and I definitely think they will help you out here. Let me go ahead and find that gain staging tutorial video for you. Here we go. So I think gain staging would
In this video,
help
I'm going to go over
a lot. So check that out. Yes, No Name. Like I said, these tutorial videos, check out the whole mixing section of the mixing playlist on YouTube. That will definitely help clear up a lot of questions you may have about mixing. I could go over a bunch of different EQing techniques and everything, but I've gone over them in depth in these tutorial videos in a very logical way, and I think it would be better if you checked out those tutorials instead of me just blabbing about it here. So that would be my advice. So check out the mixing tutorials, check out the gain staging tutorial, check out the EQing tutorial. That will really help improve this mix. But other than that, a great job. Love the vibe you had going, and I hope to see you in future live streams there here, No Name. Thank you again. I do appreciate it. Cody Woodman and Riley McElroy. Are you guys in the stream right now? Cody? Just say Cody here. Just say Riley here, and we can go over your track. Do, 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 do. 25 still, guys. 25. 11 away from the free giveaway. I know we can do it. We can pull it out. Pull it out at the end here. Okay, here we go. Cody Woodman. We can go over your track. Let's do it. Nice there. C. Woodman. Thank you so much for sending on the track, Cody Woodman. So any feedback for Cody, go ahead and put that in the chat. So definitely, I love the little wobble bass line you had. Really cool rhythm. That worked well with the bass line. Very important to have those two work in unison to create that driving force for your track. Definitely nailed it. I think more elements could have been added. More elements and more variation in the elements that you already have could also help. Also, more transition effects to signify different parts of the arrangement would really help. Adding in automation to the specific elements that you have in the mix already, and the elements that you could potentially add into your mix, such as pads, lead sounds, vocals, drum fills, again, transition effects, different harmonies in the background, a supporting bass line that plays every bar or so. The possibilities are endless here. Definitely need to fill it out. Definitely a good start to the song, but definitely need to fill out the song a bit more to make it more complete, is what I would say. So definitely something worth continuing with here. Definitely. One more thing. Sidechaining. I think sidechaining could have been used a bit in here to also help with the rhythm. Sidechain to the kick and the snare. That could really help with the rhythm. Sidechain your bass and really all the elements in your mix to the kick and snare. That's really what I do with my mixes. Sidechain everything to the kick and snare to varying degrees, though. I'll even sidechain my percussion elements at times to my kick and snare. I'll do that kind of a very moderate amount. I can even sidechain my vocal sometimes. Even if I have a vocal line, I'll sidechain in very moderate amounts, though, just to give glue the track a little bit together with the rhythm. But definitely with the bass line will be the heaviest amount of compression. Experiment with that, and I think you'll like the results. All right. next up is someone that I don't... Riley. Riley, are you in the stream right now? Let me know. Someone hook up, I see Cody Woodman with the sidechain tutorial. Someone. Yeah, you can message me after this stream, or send me a whisper there, C-Dub. I can send you a SoundCloud link. No problem at all. Check out my work. Nice. Use the EQing technique from the video that I sent in your latest track there, Rymac. Awesome. Okay, so we'll go over bypass Riley here. Oh wait, no, that's you, Riley McElroy, right? Rymac? Right? All right. Okay. Well, let's do it.
Shut it off just for a minute. Look inside the beauty in it. You're more what we're supposed to be. Feel the rush to love, be free. There's nothing better than the naked truth. Take off your mask, follow your heart to you. The future's yours to take. Put it all down. Don't wait. We are the generation, don't you know? Marching to the beat of our souls. Standing tall with pride and love and hope. This is our generation. Pick it up just for a little. Focus, put it in the middle of your list that your future holds. Unpack, see how it unfolds. Shut it off just for a minute. Look inside the beauty in it. You're more what we're supposed to be. Feel the rush to love, be free. There's nothing better than the naked truth. Take off your mask, follow your heart to you. The future's yours to take. Put it all down. Don't wait. We are the generation, don't you know? Marching to the beat of our souls. Standing tall with pride and love and hope. This is a generation.
Awesome, Rymac. Loving the song. Love the remix here. Love the whistle in there. Love the drop that you had. Very engaging from start to finish. So any feedback for Rymac, go ahead and put that in the chat. Anything you liked and anything you think can be improved. So I definitely think that all the elements worked really well together. You could hear all of them in the mix really well. Definitely there wasn't any problems with clarity in the mix, although power and impact was not quite there. It seems like all the elements were kind of delicately placed in the mix and didn't quite have their own power in the song. Specifically the drums and the mid-range. The drums need to be louder in the mix, more impactful, more of a driving force. They're what need to be the loudest things in the mix. Specifically the kick. The kick in electronic tracks, I usually like to have it be the loudest thing in the mix, as again, is the driving force of your song, is the heart and soul of the drums. The mid-range wasn't quite there in the track. You heard the sub in the mix that was providing that low end with the kick, but the mid-range, the like 250 hertz to like 800 hertz to 900 hertz, that was kind of missing in the track. You had a bass line, you had the kind of that moogie-ish bass line, but it was really quiet in the mix. So there was a lot of good detail in the mix. It just wasn't quite mixed in a way that made it impactful for the listener, I'll say. And I really just think that comes down to some volume changing of the different elements. So the bass line, that could just be brought up in the mix to create more impact. Compression of the individual elements. So, that gain staging tutorial that I posted, I'll definitely check that out to try and add in those numbers, those mixing numbers for the individual elements in your track. Play with those and see what works best for your track. And once you've done that, then I would suggest grouping together your instruments, your synths, your drums, your vocals, adding in some compression to really tighten them up, really tighten up the groups of elements. What you could also do is tighten up specific frequency ranges. So you could group all the elements that are in a specific frequency range. So mid-range, high range, you can group the synths, you can group the vocals, low range, sub, kick, bass line, group all those together in your DAW and then compress those individually. So you could have different sections, a low range, a mid-range, and a high range for specific frequencies. You could always, of course, use a multi-band compressor on specific groups of elements to really, the goal should, what I'm trying to say is you really want to tighten up the sounds a bit, to really have them come forward in the mix, and the gain staging of the individual elements will definitely help with this, and to tighten it up even more, to really even them out and to have them be as presentable as possible and be, just be as presentable as possible, or be present in the mix, I would say, not so much feel like background elements. You can tighten them up with compression, with group compression, with multi-band compression on individual elements, on groups of elements. So hopefully that feedback helps. Hopefully that made sense a bit there. Let me know if it didn't, and I can definitely go over it again. But really excellent tune, man. Thank you so much for sending it on in, and I hope to see you back in future live streams. All right, I believe. Oh, we're slipping, guys. We are slipping. 23 watching now. We need 36 watching now for this bad boy. Let's just take a dive into this. Is there a video here somewhere? Video. Where's the video? Oh, there we go. Let's just take a sneak peek.
Hey guys, my name's Rich Curtis, and I'm a product specialist here with Sonivox.
Okay, no one cares.
And I'm really excited. Twist 2.0 is an ethereal sound design instrument. You can get a lot of different customizable sounds out of this instrument just by using the available 5 giant control knobs right on the front panel. These simple controls will allow you to twist the sounds by manipulating the harmonic overtones, which will allow you to create really unique textures that you can't really find in any other virtual instrument software. Let's go over and take a look at the all. I then can write a few notes in here, a few note velocity just by using my mouse. And you can hear it's going to give me those notes back just as if I had written a MIDI clip inside my DAW. Now the great part about this is I can also set controls to automate my filter, my rate, my sync, my depth, pretty much anything. So let's pick a few instruments here, go through and take a listen to what they sound like.
Yes, me playing the video is working. We just got 4 more viewers. So again, this plugin, this spectral morphing synthesizer plugin, Sonivox, Twist, yours for free. Once we hit 36 concurrent viewers, we're doing the free giveaway, and one of you will walk away with this awesome synthesizer. All right. Let us see here. Moving on to the next song. Identify EDM. You are the lucky next person up.
I want you to breathe me in. Let me be your air. Let me roam your body freely. No inhibition, no fear. How deep is your love? Is it like the ocean? What devotion are you? How deep is your love? Is it like Nirvana? Hit me harder again. How deep is your love? How deep is your love? How deep is your love? Is it like the ocean? Pull me closer again. How deep is your love? Open up my eyes and tell me who I am. Let me in on all your secrets. No inhibition, no sin. How deep is your love? Is it like the ocean? What devotion are you? How deep is your love? Is it like Nirvana? Hit me harder again. How deep is your love? How deep is your love? Like the ocean, pull me closer again. How deep is your love?
Loving it, Identify. Loving it, man. Loving the infusion of dubstep into the warmth of future bass. Great job, man. So any feedback for Identify, go and put that in the chat. Anything you liked, anything you think can be improved. So I'll hop right into it here. It's definitely an excellent song, mixed very well. Hear all the elements well, very fat in the mix. I would say really only one mixing tip here. Maybe watch the high end in the mix a bit, specifically in the drop. Nothing too major. Maybe that like clap-ish sound gets a little too brittle with the other elements. Maybe just put a multiband compressor on the drop a little bit, just to tame a tiny bit. Like I said, nothing too much sticking out in the mix. Just something to see if it could be improved. You might try it and it might not make a difference to your ears. Just something to check out. One of the things I really wanted to talk about, though, was really the only other piece of feedback was what's kind of two pieces of feedback in one. The drop was, I liked the drop a lot. It needed more variation. I'll say that it needed more variation in the track. It got a little too repetitive, the drop. You didn't have very many breaks in the drop. I know you had one different kick feel at one point that lasted like 2 bars or whatever, or two beats or whatever. One that I'll just play them. Like those little breaks. So you had that. And the drop needs to be broken up a bit more. The kick got too repetitive and the track got too repetitive at that point. It was a very strong kick bass line that just kept playing. And I really think it could have been broken up, adding in different fills with different bass lines, with different drum rhythms, adding more of those, adding more variation to the different instruments that you had, cut out more sounds, just give more variation in the drop to break up that very fast, quick bass line that you had. I think that will also add more impact to the bass line. Like I said, it just got too repetitive by the second phrase. And I think it needed to be broken up a bit. That's really what I was trying to say. Let's see. Okay, felt like it was kind of rushed, made it in an 8-hour straight session. That is a quick session you had there. So yeah, just some improvements. Really with just the arrangement. Some variation. Trying to think. Also, I think the verse added a little bit more mid-range, more bass sound to that to fill it out. And also another instrument I think could have been put in the mix. Something that added in a harmony, a pad, just something to give more interest. It felt a bit repetitive to the first verse. So I know you made it very quickly in an 8-hour session, but yeah, just adding another element to give more harmonic interest, more mid-range to fill out that section a bit more, I think would definitely help out here. All right. Excellent job, my man. Thank you for all the feedback you've given in the stream and for sending on in the tune there, Identify. We are 10 away from the giveaway. 10 away from the giveaway. Hey. All right, moving along here. Jim Hallingstrom, are you in the stream? Jim Hallingstrom, let me know and I can go over your song right this instant, right now. Ooh, nice little intro there. Yes, you are. Boom.
Time is flowing so fast, so fast.
Nice, Jim. Nice little tropical deep house track there. Loving the blend of the genres there. So any feedback for Jim, go ahead and put that in the chat. So really one main piece of feedback here. The drops, I definitely think could be improved mix-wise. They're a bit confusing, the drops. You had a lot of different elements that were going side to side, auto panning, different instruments panned. It was hard to keep track of what was kind of the main theme just because of all this movement. You want to have, the main instruments, be more so in mono and really not be panned as much. So it seemed like, so the main lead sound that you had, it seemed like the delay was like panned to like one side a little bit more. I think that could have just been more in the center, I guess. Not have it panned to the side, so have that delay just kind of be just in the center and really just provide stereo imaging on both sides with the delays, the ping pong delay that you had. What else? I usually go pretty crazy on the panning. Yeah, panning adds a lot of movement and panning can add a lot of, it can fill out your track. Panning can fill out your track. I've experimented a lot with panning, and you can get away with a fuller sounding song if you pan your elements, auto pan your elements. Let's say you have like a lead sound and you pan it left to right. It'll seem like it covers a large part of the frequency spectrum. It's that it tricks your ears into thinking that. But yeah, the problem with that is just it was hard to understand what was going on in the mix at times. So I think more stereo spreading, especially in an electronic track. I think more stereo spreading than panning. If you want to get an element wide, think about stereo spreading it rather than panning it. Again, that's not to say that panning elements is something that you shouldn't do. I definitely do pan elements still. I would consider stereo spreading first. And if you really want to have that element panned, then I would go ahead and do it. Like example, like the drum fill, I don't think that needed to be panned at all. Drum fills panned, auto panned, or as panning from side to side. I think that is a little confusing. I think it can be steady in the mix. What else? Problem with using panning is that many venues are mono. That's also true. With this track, you'll also run into problems with just the power of your track. Many systems, clubs, really most venues that you would play your music at, their system is in mono, and they're not going to catch all this panning in detail, and this panning detail could weaken your track because everything is converted to mono, and it could be could weaken your track. It would not, certain elements wouldn't sound as loud in the mix, so they would go in and out of volume and level. So that's something to consider. What else here? I would say, let's see. The drums here. Drums are kind of like a background element, with build-ups. You want it to have it be impactful. You want it to really drive the attention to this build-up that something is bigger to come. It's more like a background element, those drums. I think the gain staging overall just could have been improved, really. Let me go ahead and put that video again. Maybe you've checked it out before, maybe you haven't. Let me go ahead and just put it again. Definitely recommend following somewhere along the lines of these mixing numbers that are in this video. I think that would really help. Put it in here. I'm going to go over. Okay, so check out this tutorial, and I think that would help a lot with this track. You had elements that were very separated in the stereo field. You had your bass line, you had the different drum elements, you had the different synths that were in the high end. It was separated well, so you could understand what was happening in the mix as far as you can pick out the individual instruments because there weren't many overlapping frequencies. That's what I'm trying to say. So the clarity of the mix wasn't bad. It's just some of the volume levels of them were not, of the different elements, were not giving power to the track, giving as much power to the track as it should have been, and the panning was also taking away from this power and distracting the listener. So I think that was one of the really the main issues with the track. So just really some small fixes there to help this track shine through a bit more. So hopefully that helps out, and thank you so much, Jim, for joining the stream again, and I hope to see you back in future live streams. So that's actually going to do it for this week's live stream. Run around 2 hours for the live stream. I want to thank you all for joining. Unfortunately, we did not get a chance to give away the SoundShock Twist plugin. Sorry. We did not hit 36 viewers, but we will be hosting the live track feedback stream again every Friday at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. GMT. We'll have this giveaway again. And I've just purchased a bunch of other plugins to give away for even more live streams. So once we give away this SoundShock Twist, there'll be even more plugins to give away. Tons of free giveaways in every stream now. You don't want to miss it. Again, we'll be hosting the stream next Friday at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time at 7 p.m. GMT. 36 concurrent viewers in the stream. We'll give it away. I want to thank you all again. Thank you all again. 6'9 Odessa, 6'9. Banana, Besieged 18, Billion Dog TV, Blue Eyes 47, Blue Goats, Buffalo Val, CF Jim 23, Commander Root, C Woodman, DJ Timid 2006, D Cargan, DOCRX 2018, Fireboy 0, Flamingo Leg, Just Now, Joby Essen, JU1 Con, Colby, Creedon, Kyling's Mini Crew, Slow Cool, No Scope Ninjax, Stockholm, Sweden, TEYYD, VNK Virgo Pros, 1 Dara 57, and Zane TV. Thank you all so much for coming on in the stream. Do appreciate it. I hope this stream was helpful for you guys. You know, if you guys have any comments, feedback on the stream, I would love to hear it. Anything that you think could help improve the stream for you guys. As again, this is for you to help you improve your musical productions. So if there's anything I could do to help with that, please do let me know. Any questions, again, on the stream, anything about SoundShockAudio, or anything at all you just want to say hi, you can message me at any of the SoundShock social media, or email me at daniel@soundshockaaudio.com, and I'd be happy to talk with you. And for all of you who sent in your tracks, I will definitely give some feedback on them. I'll send you guys an email, so don't feel like you are being left out here. I will definitely go over your songs and give you feedback through email. I do appreciate it. Sorry about that No Scope Ninjax. I will be giving you feedback through your email. And thank you again so much. I do appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, oh yeah, one last thing. Go ahead and put the link to SoundShockAudio. And again, if you guys haven't checked out SoundShockAudio, I highly recommend you guys do so. It is the #1 resource for producers, as it has the largest free sample pack, preset, plugin, DAW template library on the web right now. So definitely check it out. And once again, I will be giving you feedback on your track if you did not get it on this stream. And for all of you who had feedback, or you just want to review the stream, see any of the feedback that was given, any of the tips that were given, I will be posting the live stream on the SoundShockAudio YouTube channel. You can also find it on Twitch, as the stream will save for a few weeks. So you can always go back and review it there. I hope you guys had a great time in the stream. And again, we'll be hosting the stream next Friday at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. GMT. We're doing the free giveaway again. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Friday. Thank you all so much.